When you walk into a museum and stand in awe before a massive dinosaur skeleton, the last thing on your mind is whether it's real. But here's the unsettling truth. Most of what you're looking at is not actual fossilized bone. In fact, many museum skeletons contain as little as 30% real fossil material. The rest is made from plaster, resin, or 3D printed replicas. Some are entirely casts. And more surprising, sometimes those bones aren't even from the same animal. Composite skeletons built from multiple individuals, sometimes even different species, are common. Why? Because full skeletons are incredibly rare, and scientists often have to make educated guesses. Yet most museums don't mention this clearly. Visitors assume they're seeing ancient creatures as they were. But in many cases, the pose, the skull, even the size, are interpretive reconstructions. It's like looking at a Frankenstein dinosaur built partly from fact and partly from speculation. This doesn't make it fake science, but it does raise questions. Are we being shown what dinosaurs truly looked like, or what curators think we want to see in a world where appearance shapes perception? How much of your dinosaur knowledge is based on truth, and how much on illusion? Tyrannosaurus rex is widely known as the ultimate apex predator, ferocious, fast, and deadly. But what if this terrifying creature wasn't actually much of a hunter? Some paleontologists have argued that T. rex might have been more of a scavenger than a predator. Its bulky frame, relatively small eyes, and limited turning ability suggest it may have struggled to chase down agile prey. Its legs, while strong, weren't built for long sprints, and its tiny arms virtually useless in a hunt. Fossil evidence shows bite marks on bones that had already begun healing, suggesting Rex often fed on carcasses, possibly after the animal was already dead. Others argue that it used its powerful nose to sniff out carrion over long distances, much like modern vultures. Could it be that T. rex, the so-called king, made a living by stealing kills or feeding on leftovers? Of course, some researchers push back, pointing to its massive bite force and forward-facing eyes. But the debate remains. Is the fearsome predator we've all imagined just a misunderstood cleanup crew? If T. rex was more of a scavenger, what does that say about how much we've been misled by movies and museum exhibits? When most people hear the word raptor, they think of a man-sized killer with razor-sharp claws, cunning pack behavior, and terrifying speed. But the real velociraptor was nothing like the monster you saw in Jurassic Park. In reality, velociraptors were about the size of a turkey, just 2 feet tall, and weighing around 30 pounds. They had feathers, a lightweight body, and likely hunted small prey. So, why the dramatic portrayal? The film borrowed features from a larger cousin, Deinonychus, and exaggerated them for cinematic effect. Even the claws were oversized, and while raptors were likely intelligent by dinosaur standards, there's no hard evidence they hunted in packs like wolves. Scientists speculate, but they don't know for sure. The term raptor became popularized through media, blending fact with fiction, until the real animal was lost in the fog. Generations now believe in a predator that never actually existed as portrayed. If Hollywood can reinvent a dinosaur so thoroughly, how many other prehistoric creatures have we misunderstood based on entertainment? Maybe it's time to unlearn what we think we know and ask what else are we getting wrong. Spinosaurus has become one of the most mysterious and controversial dinosaurs in paleontology. Once believed to be a typical land-dwelling predator, recent discoveries suggest it may have been semi-aquatic. Its elongated tail, crocodile-like snout, and conical teeth hint at a life spent in rivers and lakes. But the evidence is far from conclusive. The original Spinosaurus fossils were destroyed in World War II, and recent finds are often incomplete or poorly preserved. Some researchers argue that reconstructions are based on too few fragments, leading to an image that may not reflect reality. Did Spinosaurus truly swim like a crocodile, or are we forcing pieces into a narrative? Because it makes sense. Critics claim the idea of a swimming dinosaur is too exciting to resist, and that's why it's being pushed so aggressively. Others point to inconsistencies in the fossil record, like poorly developed leg bones that don't match the body size. Is Spinosaurus a unique aquatic hunter or a poorly understood dinosaur caught in a flood of speculation? Until we find a complete skeleton, we may never know the truth. But one thing's clear, what we think we know about Spinosaurus is constantly changing. Imagine a prehistoric showdown, Giganotosaurus versus T. rex, two titans of the Mesozoic world clashing in an epic battle. That's how it's often portrayed in documentaries and movies. But here's the truth, they never met. Giganotosaurus lived in South America roughly 30 million years before it. Rex roamed North America. The idea of a duel is pure fantasy. So why do we keep comparing them? Mainly because they were both massive carnivores, and comparisons are easy marketing. Giganotosaurus was longer, but T. rex was heavier and had a much stronger bite. In fact, T. rex's bite is the most powerful of any land animal in history. Giganotosaurus, on the other hand, had a weaker jaw and thinner teeth, better suited for slicing than crushing. Their bodies were built for different kinds of prey and different environments. Scientific comparisons can be valuable, but the idea of a battle is more about drama than data. When media outlets push this narrative, they feed into public misconceptions. It's a prehistoric rivalry invented for entertainment, not evidence. Maybe it's time we stopped pitting them against each other and started understanding them on their own terms. In 1824, a fossil was given a name that would change science forever: Megalosaurus. It was the first dinosaur ever officially named and described, making it the original giant of paleontology. But today, almost no one remembers it. Unlike T. rex or Spinosaurus, Megalosaurus has no starring role in movies, no merchandise, no public fame. Why possibly? Because it doesn't fit the cinematic mold. It lacked the flashy features, no giant claws, no sail on its back, and no dramatic name. Its fossils are fragmented, and its full appearance is still debated. Over time, as more impressive or complete fossils were discovered, Megalosaurus was pushed aside. Some scientists even argue that it's a wastebasket taxon, a name used too loosely for unrelated finds. Yet, without it, the field of dinosaur research might never have taken off. Its historical value is unmatched. It's ironic the first dinosaur ever recognized by science is now one of the least appreciated if science forgets its roots for the sake of spectacle. What else might be lost in the rush for attention in the early days of dinosaur discovery? Scientists had little reference for how these creatures looked or moved. That led to some bizarre and lasting mistakes for decades. Dinosaurs like Iguanodon were shown walking upright like kangaroos, with their tails dragging along the ground. Rex was often posed standing tall like a person, which we now know is anatomically impossible. These images shaped generations' understanding of dinosaurs, but they were wrong. Even today, outdated mounts remain in some museums. Worse yet, many full skeletons on display are assembled using incomplete data, educated guesses, or bones from different species. Sometimes, key parts like skulls or limbs are reconstructed based on what should be there. In science, this is called inference. But to the public, it looks like certainty. And once an image is cemented in popular culture, it becomes hard to correct. Who's responsible for keeping these displays accurate? Museums, paleontologists. The truth is, the longer a mistake is left unchallenged, the more accepted it becomes. In our fascination with these ancient giants, have we let spectacle take precedence over precision? Maybe it's time to revisit what we thought we knew and re-examine the dinosaurs of our imagination. Paleontology is still a young science, and most of Earth's fossil record remains buried every year. New species are discovered sometimes from just a single bone. But what if the most terrifying predators of all are still waiting to be found? Some experts believe entire genera of large carnivorous dinosaurs remain undiscovered, simply because their fossils haven't been exposed yet. Consider how many specimens we've found in just a few places, like North America and Mongolia. Huge swaths of Earth, especially Africa, Southeast Asia, and the deep ocean basins remain largely unexplored. What secrets lie in those rocks? Some fossils are known, but not yet studied. Sitting in museum drawers without funding, others are misidentified, grouped incorrectly with known species. The idea of a super predator more dangerous than Rex may not be far-fetched, it just hasn't surfaced yet. Science is based on evidence, but evidence can only be studied once it's found. Until then, we're left with tantalizing possibilities. Could there be a dinosaur that hunted to Rex-sized prey and we've never even seen it? It's not just about what we've discovered. It's about what's still hidden beneath the dirt, waiting to rewrite history. Fossil fraud is more common than most people realize. The most infamous example is the Archaeoraptor hoax in 1989, a fossil hailed as the missing link between dinosaurs and birds, later revealed to be a fake, cobbled together from several species. But this wasn't an isolated case. In the race for fame, funding, or even tourism, some fossil dealers and scientists have manipulated or outright fabricated specimens. Composite fossils made by combining bones from different animals can fool even experienced researchers. Sometimes, the deception is financial. Other times, it's about ego. Museums, eager for crowd-pulling exhibits, may display questionable fossils with little transparency. And once a fossil becomes famous, institutions may hesitate to re-examine it too closely, fearing embarrassment. The result, a fossil record peppered with misinformation. In China, Brazil, and even the US, several fossils have been exposed as altered or misrepresented. But for every hoax uncovered, how many more go unnoticed? Scientific progress relies on trust in data, but if the data is flawed, the conclusions are too. In a field that depends so heavily on fragments and reconstructions, honesty is everything. So how do we protect the truth when stone can lie? 66 million years ago, a massive asteroid struck Earth, wiping out nearly all non-avian dinosaurs, or so the story goes. But what if not all predators vanished across the globe, especially in remote regions of Africa and South America? Local legends tell of large reptilian creatures, some with features eerily similar to raptors. The Congo's Mokele Mbembe is described as a giant, long-necked beast. In Papua New Guinea, villagers speak of flying reptiles haunting the skies. Are these tales just myths or fading memories of something real? Mainstream science says, no, there's no credible evidence that any non-avian dinosaur survived the extinction event. But no credible evidence doesn't mean absolute proof. Remember, coelacanth fish were thought extinct for 65 million years until one turned up alive in 938. Could isolated populations of small predators have survived in hidden corners of the world? Or are these stories modern folklore shaped by ancient bones and imagination? Either way, they challenge the finality of extinction. If even one carnivorous dinosaur somehow slipped through the cracks of history, what would that mean for our understanding of life, survival, and everything we thought we knew?